Let's get one thing straight. The Suez Canal isn't just a bit of water. It's not merely a ditch dug in the sand. It's a monument to human ambition, a testament to what we can achieve when we set our minds to something truly audacious. Stubbornness, a refusal to back down in the face of seemingly insurmountable obstacles, and a dash of madness. The kind of grand, perhaps slightly unhinged vision that changes the world. Before it, ships from London to Mumbai, the heart of the British Empire, had to slog around Africa, a perilous journey around the Cape of Good Hope, a months-long, soul-crushing journey. Imagine the cost in time, resources, and human lives. Then, in 1869, after a decade of digging, of relentless labor under the scorching Egyptian sun, the Suez Canal opened and changed everything. The world shrank, trade boomed, and fortunes were made and lost. Ferdinand de Lesseps, a Frenchman, a visionary with unwavering belief in his grand design, decided to carve a 120-mile trench through Egypt, a seemingly impossible feat of engineering, connecting the Mediterranean to the Red Sea. A shortcut that would reshape global commerce and geopolitics. The engineering was epic, a marvel of 19th century technology and human ingenuity. The politics even messier, a tangled web of international interests, colonial ambitions, and financial intrigue. But they pulled it off. Against all odds, they created a waterway that would forever alter the course of history. Suddenly, Europe to Asia was weeks faster. A dramatic reduction in travel time that revolutionized trade, a revolution in global trade. The world became smaller, more interconnected, and more competitive. The British at first thought it was a French scheme, a threat to their dominance on the seas. But when they saw the savings, the immense economic advantages, they jumped on board. They quickly realized the canal's strategic importance. The canal became the empire's lifeline to India, the vital artery that sustained British power and influence, the most strategic waterway on Earth, a choke point of immense geopolitical significance. Control the Suez and you control the flow of goods, the lifeblood of global commerce, soldiers, the movement of armies, and the projection of power and power between East and West. The balance of global influence hangs in the balance. Egypt overnight became the gatekeeper of the modern world, a position of immense power and responsibility. The canal wasn't just a construction project, it was a catalyst for change. It redrew the global map, connecting continents and cultures in unprecedented ways, and announced the industrial age, a new era of technological advancement and global interconnectedness. Since then, the world has been utterly dependent on it. Our economies, our societies, our very way of life rely on its continued operation, and that dependence, it's caused no end of trouble. It has been a source of conflict, tension, and geopolitical maneuvering for over a century. The Suez Canal is more than a shortcut. It's a symbol of global trade. It's the world's most valuable bottleneck. A narrow passage with the power to shape global events. Its story is one of ambition, of daring to dream big and pushing the boundaries of what's possible, rivalry of nations vying for control and influence over this vital waterway, and the relentless march of progress. A story that continues to unfold to this day. And as we'll see, its impact is still felt every single day. From the goods we consume to the energy that powers our lives, the Suez Canal plays a crucial role. The legend of Suez was just beginning, and its future remains as vital and contested as its past. Why does a 150-year-old ditch still matter? Because it's the main artery of global trade. 12% of all global trade, over 20,000 ships a year, passes through this narrow channel. It's the superhighway linking Asia's factories to Europe and America's markets. Without it, ships must detour 6,000 miles around Africa, adding weeks and massive costs. In a world of just-in-time logistics, a 2-week delay is a disaster. The Suez isn't a relic, it's the beating heart of 21st century commerce. Every day the world holds its breath, hoping this fragile link stays open. The gas in your home, the phone in your pocket, the clothes on your back, they all depend on this canal. Its importance can't be overstated. You'd think a canal would be simple. Water, ships, done. But the Suez has a history of chaos. The Suez Crisis of 1956 was the big one. Egypt's Nasser nationalized the canal, infuriating Britain and France. They invaded, Egypt blocked the canal, and global trade ground to a halt. Petrol rationing hit Britain, shipping was thrown into chaos, and the British Empire's power crumbled. The US stepped in, forcing Britain and France to back down. The lesson? The canal is a geopolitical weapon. Control it and you hold the world's economy hostage. The canal stayed shut for months, forcing ships on the long, costly route around Africa. It was a wake-up call. The world's trade system is only as strong as its weakest link. Politics, war, or a single decision can stop the flow overnight. The Suez Crisis was the first warning shot, and it wouldn't be the last. The canal's vulnerability is its power, and its curse. Fast forward to 2021 and the ever-given disaster. One gust of wind, one colossal ship, and the world's most important shortcut became the world's biggest traffic jam. For 6 days, nothing moved. Hundreds of ships queued, $9.6 billion in goods held up daily. Suddenly, everyone learned what a choke point really means. The image of a tiny digger next to a stuck skyscraper of a ship became a symbol of global fragility. It wasn't war or politics, just an accident, and the world economy shuddered. Eventually, tugboats and a high tide freed the ship, but the lesson was clear. Our hyper-efficient system is balanced on a knife edge. One mistake, and everything stops. The Ever Given was a wake-up call. It showed how a single mishap can paralyze global trade. The canal's vulnerability isn't just history, it's right now, and it's not going away. The Ever Given incident, while seemingly a singular event, serves as a stark reminder of the vulnerabilities inherent in global trade. It was just an accident, but what if it wasn't? The real danger? Deliberate disruption? A calculated act designed to cripple global commerce? The Suez Canal, a vital artery of international trade, sits in a volatile region. A region surrounded by political instability, simmering conflicts, and persistent economic challenges that fuel unrest and desperation. This confluence of factors makes it a perfect target for anyone wanting to cause chaos. Terrorists seeking to destabilize the region, rogue states with geopolitical ambitions, or even just bad luck, a simple accident amplified by the canal's inherent vulnerabilities. Recent Houthi attacks in the Red Sea, a crucial shipping lane connected to the Suez, have already forced ships to reroute, adding thousands of miles to their journeys, costing time and money, and disrupting supply chains worldwide. Natural disasters and the escalating effects of climate change add even more risk. Rising sea levels threatening coastal infrastructure, extreme weather events like droughts and floods, even earthquakes, a constant threat in this seismically active region. The canal's continued operation depends on unwavering political stability, robust security measures, and predictable weather patterns, all of which are increasingly uncertain in today's world. Geography itself makes it a choke point, a narrow passage where there's virtually no room for error. One incident, whether it's a mechanical failure, a moment of human error, or a deliberate act of attack, can shut it down completely with devastating consequences. The world's over-reliance on this single vulnerable point is, in many ways, collective madness. We've built a global trade system that's brilliantly efficient in its design, but also catastrophically fragile in its dependence on a few key choke points. The Suez Canal, in this context, is both our greatest shortcut, enabling rapid and cost-effective trade, and our single biggest risk, a potential point of failure that could cripple the global economy. Every day we gamble on its continued safety and smooth operation, and the stakes couldn't be higher, with the stability of global trade hanging in the balance. When the Suez closes, even for a short period, the effects are instant, rippling outwards to touch every corner of the globe. The interconnected nature of our world means that disruptions in one place can quickly cascade into widespread problems. Oil and gas prices spike, reflecting the immediate impact on energy markets. Energy supplies from the Persian Gulf to Europe are squeezed, creating uncertainty and driving up costs. The flow of vital resources grinds to a halt. Traders panic, reacting to the instability and potential losses. Prices soar, reflecting the increased cost of transporting goods and the fear of future shortages. And you pay more at the pump, feeling the direct impact on your wallet. But it goes deeper than just fuel prices. Modern factories rely on just-in-time parts from around the world, a system designed for efficiency but vulnerable to disruption. When the canal shuts, that delicate balance is shattered. Production lines halt, starved of the components they need to operate. Workers are sent home as there's simply no work to be done. And the economic pain spreads, impacting families and communities. Supermarket shelves empty. As goods are delayed and supply chains falter, prices rise, driven by scarcity and increased transportation costs, and businesses struggle to survive, facing higher costs and reduced sales. A crisis in Egypt, A localized event quickly becomes a crisis everywhere, highlighting the fragility of our globalized world. A week-long closure can wipe out hundreds of billions in global trade, a staggering loss that underscores the canal's importance. Our prosperity depends on trust, on the smooth functioning of global trade. That ships will sail on schedule, ports will open to receive them, and canals will stay clear, ensuring the uninterrupted flow of goods. When that trust breaks, when the system is disrupted, the whole system wobbles, threatening economic stability and global well-being. The Suez isn't just a canal, a simple waterway. It's the linchpin of globalization, a critical artery in the global trade network. Its closure is a stark reminder of how interconnected and therefore vulnerable we really are in this modern age. One blocked ditch, one single point of failure, and the world feels the shockwaves, a testament to the canal's vital role. The Suez is a single point of failure, a choke point in the global supply chain. For the entire planet, a critical vulnerability in our interconnected world. And we're all in some way at its mercy, dependent on its smooth operation for our economic well-being. So what's next? Egypt has expanded the canal. New channels, deeper sections, more capacity. But as the canal grows, so do the ships. Ultra-large container vessels are marvels, but they're hard to handle in tight spaces. The Ever Given proved that bigger isn't always better. Some experts think we've reached peak ship. The risks now outweigh the rewards. The future may be smarter, not bigger, better navigation, more manageable vessels. Expansion is expensive and never-ending, dredging, maintenance, billions in investment. But no matter how wide you make it, the Suez will always be a vulnerable choke point. Geography sets the limits. Engineering can only do so much. The canal's fragility is here to stay. Is there a plan B? The northern sea route via the Arctic is shorter, but it's risky. Ice, storms, and Russian control. Overland routes like China's Belt and Road offer alternatives, but trains can't match ships for volume or cost. Every alternative has its own problems. Politics, infrastructure, expense. For now, we're stuck with the sea. And with choke points like Suez, the old route around Africa is slow and costly, used only in emergencies. The conclusion is clear. There's no large-scale alternative to the Suez Canal. We've put all our eggs in one very sandy basket. The world's trade depends on a single narrow waterway, and every crisis proves just how risky that is. Until something better comes along, Suez is irreplaceable. The world's shortcut is also its Achilles heel, and we're all along for the ride. A 120-mile ditch in Egypt is the linchpin of the global economy. It's a symbol of human achievement and our modern fragility. Your petrol, your groceries, your job, they all depend on the Suez Canal. Protecting it isn't optional, it's essential. The future will bring bigger canals, smarter ships, and maybe new routes, but Suez will remain vital. When traffic flows, the world thrives. When it stops, crisis follows. The Suez story is the story of globalization. Ambition, efficiency, and vulnerability, we're all in the same boat. And that boat must pass through a narrow, precarious ditch. The world's prosperity rests on a fragile line in the sand, and that's why the Suez Canal governs your life.